Though our friends are searching for refined adamantite and sacred relics, we will only know if they meet your requirements once they have arrived. In the meantime, is there aught else we might do to be of service? You've already done more than enough. If I had to say though, I could use someone who knows a thing or two about elegant technology. Oh, Graha? Graha, please go with him. You there? The lad with the red eyes and matching hair? You seem to know more than the average scholar. If only Master Kokol knew how right he was, while he and Graha establish a rapport. Why don't we help with the preparations for the Great Exodus? Indeed, this would mean going above and beyond the terms of our arrangement, but I propose this not to curry favor. As confident as I am that we will succeed, we must be ready for every eventuality. This would also be an opportunity to familiarize ourselves with the logistics of traversing the great expanse. And if nothing else, it beats twiddling our thumbs while we wait for the adamantite. Well, ain't you a bunch of helpful buggers? If you have a mind to lend a hand, I know where you ought to go. Charlie and Hamlet is lousy with researchers and scholarly types busying themselves preparing for the Exodus. That lot need all the help they can get. In order to protect the secrets of the Central Circuit, the researchers must navigate a bewildering maze of paperwork before they are permitted to return to the surface. I suppose it's no different than any other aspect of Charlian society. We do love our bureaucracy. It's very much a mirror of the city above, which is perhaps how it came to be called Charlian Hamlet. Ishtola? What a quaint little settlement this is. A shame it's hidden underground. I don't mind a bit of heavy lifting, but I draw the line at paperwork. So much as we wave a sheaf of documents at me and I'll put my lens through it. Oh no, he hates it. He hates bureaucracy. As surprised as I was to learn the foreign plan to send everyone to the moon, I can't imagine how the common folk must feel about it. Do my senses deceive me? In the shadow of yon corner. One can but hope this leadeth not to mischievous undertakings. What? Do you see Lopoorrits or something here? Alize? From what I can tell, a lot of the people actually live down here. Yeah, they have to live here if they're working here, mostly. I don't know how much help we can offer, but I dare say they will benefit from some of that fresh inspiration Scholark Montaigne mentioned. Let's start by asking around, ideally without getting in anyone's way. Let's meet by the Aetheryte once our work is done. Helping with the Ark? Even with all the power Master Kokol's managed to squeeze out of the ether burner is still not enough, apparently. And now I hear the final days have arrived. Horrible creatures running rampant all over. If only we had begun the Exodus sooner. People are dying and there will be no end to it if we don't fulfill our duties. But we will. We have spent years preparing for this moment. Believe in the plan, and all will be well. Hello? Are you one of the new helpers? Working on the ether burner? Oh dear, I hear things have come to a standstill on that front. Even so, I choose that over my current duties, checking and loading samples day in, day out. It's tiring, thankless work. Still, no one will be cross if I misplace a few Junes or what have you. The forum's got enough on their plate as it is, what with deciding who gets to board the Ark and when. Lots of powerful people have opinions about that. My heart goes out to Master Forshnow and the others. Hardly get a moment's rest, I expect. Do they even have time to sleep? Offering to help? That's very kind, but I should be able to organize the rest of the documents by myself. It's mostly lists of things we'll need once we arrive on the moon, and then whichever star we choose as our new home. My duties largely concern the maintenance of living conditions, so I'll be a lot busy after we depart. I hear that our lunar collaborators have come down to assist in our efforts. I'm looking forward to finally meeting them in person, after having communicated with them in such a limited capacity thus far. To be perfectly honest, I have not even the slightest idea what they look like. You're in for a treat. I do hope they are not enormous, looming giants. Why, I would much prefer something small and fluffy, like that beheaded rabbit that ran by. Oh, that is actually the Lopoorrits, yes. Oh boy, Urianger? It would appear the Lopoorrits have infiltrated Sharlayan's most heavily guarded facility. How? I know not. How marvelous it is to see you again. You'll be pleased to hear I have learned much since our fascinating discussion at the Curatorium. It's all thanks to Urianger, you see. He has taught me the finer points of cooking, which, despite my name, I knew very little about. So many dishes, so many hard-to-pronounce words. No, it's because of Urianger, not because of the words. Actually, I was rather hoping he would show me how to bake an Archon loaf. No, you don't want that.
No, you don't want, no.
They're quite popular, I hear, though it doesn't sound like it contains any flavor to speak of. Still, if that's the sort of thing your kind enjoys, I shall make enough to last the whole journey.
No, it's just Charlians that enjoy it, no.
Hiraki, I wasn't expecting to see you here, Alia, after beating the shit out of you, right? Throwing away, I'm sorry about that, but you attacked first. I'm sorry I didn't have a chance to say goodbye, and for, having those other Lopoorrits attack you. Terrible misunderstanding that. Not to worry though, as all have since recovered from the rather savage beating you administered. They bear you no ill will. Well, perhaps a little, on account of the savagery, but time heals all wounds. Most anyway.
Uh-huh.
Fancy meeting you here, Alia. Our friends in the forum brought us to see their teeny tiny toy boat, which was quite impressive considering they didn't use any creation magics. What we are really interested in is Ethers itself, though we now find ourselves in a sort of funny, underground, miniaturized version of it. We are hoping the forum would give us a guided tour, but it appears they are rather preoccupied. Honestly, all that time to prepare and they're still not ready? I suppose we'll just have to show ourselves around, or at least that's what we're planning to do until we chance upon Urianger and your good self. Since you're both dawdling about, engaging in idle chit-chat, perhaps you could show us a few points of interest. Wouldn't that be fun? I even don't know myself. Try as he might, Urianger cannot free himself of the Lopoorrits. Oh no. A tour of Labyrinthos? An unexpected yet prudent suggestion. Given the similarities betwixt this artificial environment and Bestway's burrow, it would be in our best interests to have the Lopoorrits acquaint themselves with those conditions deemed optimal by their Sharlayan collaborators. I fear, however, that continued reliance upon my limited knowledge would risk narrowing, rather than broadening, their perspectives. Mayhap thou art better suited to lead this venture. I don't know the surroundings either, Urianger, what are you talking about? What a marvelous idea! Might we begin with that great big what's-it over yonder? Ah yes, the what's-it. I shall leave its explanation to Alia. And he is chuckling, oh no.
Oh no.
Urianger, we're going to talk about this later, okay? You can't run away. This is all very intriguing, I'm sure, but where are the food preparation stations? What was your word for it? Kitchens? That reminds me, Puddingway, our newly appointed chief of pudding research, a discipline he himself founded after sampling Urianger's delights, oh no, has gone in search of Ethers' ultimate sweet treat. Well, provided it's a pudding, as that's all he ever talks about these days. Have you seen him? If you want pudding, I can direct you to a person. Her name is Zloy. She eats pudding all the time. My word, what magnificent architecture! Such immaculate curvature! I'll have to make several adjustments to my work if I'm to match this degree of craftsmanship. I shall leave no corner unrounded. Considering Singing Way and Growing Way's specialties, I expect them to pay full attention to your explanations, which I'm sure will be most informative. Urianger, you're in trouble. The Lopoorrits' technical expertise doth far outstrip our own. You would be wise to allow them to form their own conclusions as to the function of the various apparatus, rather than offer uninformed suppositions of our own. Unless, that is, unbeknownst to me, thou art possessed of surpassing knowledge concerning the construction and operation of advanced Sharlayan, what's-its? Goodness me! To build something so large without creation magics is positively stupendous! Perhaps you could direct our attention to its most important features? Observe the shroom-like thing. Really, Quest? Observe the tanks, observe the metallic tube. So this is the metallic tube. Let's observe. It's taking water out, I suppose.
Shroom-like thing.
Yeah. Is that water I hear from inside that great big tube? It must be because of those cogs and that gigantic wheel at the top. Oh, I see. That's how they draw up the water. There's probably some sort of spiral-shaped mechanism inside it too. Observe the tanks. Is that not a tank? Oh no, the tanks are here. It's a little hard to see from here, but is that a golden pipe connected to the top of those tanks? And I can see through that window another pipe at the bottom. Ah, this must be for purifying water drawn up from below.
Yes.
Can I...
Yes, click that.
You spot an ambystoma, an especially lively one at that. It would appear that the concept you observed in another time and another place was approved for life in the wider world. Somehow. Aww. Mushroom-like thing. Oh. What? Oh, this thing. That looks like the trees in Greatest Endswale. Hold on. That's a bit of a strange shape. It's thin at the bottom, but big and round at the top. Quite tall for something so unbalanced too. Now it makes sense. That's why they store the water. Well, if I were to hazard a guess, water drawn from underground, presumably with some other mechanism, is purified here and stored in that tower, before being distributed elsewhere. I'm right, aren't I? I knew it! A design brilliant in its simplicity. I dare say it would take only a moment to install it, even the harshest of environment. For us Lopoorrits, that is. Indeed, securing a reliable source of water is of the utmost importance for any fledgling settlement.
And pudding.
And pudding, yes. We have read, however, that peoples of Etheris sometimes make their homes in arid deserts and such. How are they able to survive? Many settlements in Thanalan are built near an oasis, or areas near waterfalls are common sites for villages in Grebania. I'm going to say Thanalan. So, wherever you choose to live, you're never far from water. Oh dear, I worry we won't be able to procure the necessary amount. We can provide enough water to keep them from drying out completely, but it would appear they rely on it far more than we had anticipated. A few adjustments may be in order, once we have calculated the average rate of consumption per individual. It may also be worth learning more about how exactly they obtained their water in the first place. Master Alphinaud spoke of the machinery responsible for that feat during our journey through Logisticon Alpha, did he not? Mayhap the Lopoorrits will share his appreciation for the engineering marvel. Oh yes, that sounds absolutely splendid! We must journey beyond the sanctuary of Charlene Hamlet. I shall lead the way. You mean we'll have to brave the untamed wilderness? A valid concern indeed. You could not help but notice the many dangerous-looking creatures with big, nasty teeth lurking beyond the safe confines of the settlement. Were we not escorted here by burly custodians, I dread to think that what would have become of us. Regrettably, to many a hungry predator with the aforementioned big, nasty teeth, Lopoorrits may appear to be a potential and rather appetizing source of sustenance. Oh no, they're scared. You scared them! Might I impose upon thee to assist in securing safe passage to Logisticon Alpha? For my part, I shall act as escort to Living Way and Cooking Way. I entrust Singing Way and Growing Way to thy care. Okay, leave it to me. A more valiant protector they could not wish for. Godspeed. Hi guys, let's go. If it's all the same to you, I'd rather not be eaten by some horrid beastie. Come along, Growing Way. To the water extraction, what's it?
What's it?
I have a feeling the way forward is not as clear as we would like. Could you go and take a look? Singing way. Perhaps you could tell the local beasties we are not nearly as delicious as we might appear. Thank you so much. I really hope this water extraction whatsit is worth these harrowing experiences. All part of the fun, some might say, but I'd rather not be burnt to a crisp if it's all the same to you. Let's get moving. That building looks nice and solid and safe. That was all very exciting, but I'd rather not do it again. Wait, how exactly were we planning to head back later? You have done well to see those two here safely. They can be a bit skittish at the best of times, so I'm pleasantly surprised they didn't run off and get themselves killed. I couldn't help noticing a distinct lack of carrots along the way, or many of the other vegetables I was expecting to see, though I did catch a glimpse of some sort of bipedal tomato charging about. Must be my imagination. No, it's not your imagination. My friends, I bid you welcome to Logisticon Alpha. Our destination doth lie at the lift's top. Pray follow me. Forgive me for asking, but are we any closer to the kitchens? Come to think of it, why am I even here? Atmospheric manipulators are hardly my area of expertise. That was terrifying, but at least the scenery was more pleasant than what's name? Garlemald? As a first impression of Ithris, it was far from favorable. Anyway, onwards and upwards. Quite literally, as is the case here. As I understand, places like Labyrinthos are the exception rather than the rule. You don't all build enormous underground living spaces like this, surely? No, we don't. Urianger? On this occasion, it would behoove us to seek the counsel of those qualified to describe the workings of the apparatus. They may also be in possession of schematics or other useful documentation, should the Lopoorrits request them. As the forum's esteemed guests, it's unlikely that they would be refused. Yet thou knowest as well as I the changeable dispositions of Charlian bureaucrat. Marvelous! Simply marvelous! So this is where the magic, or science rather, takes place? The perfect environment to sustain life, artificially created! The knowledge we'll gain here will be essential when we start looking for new stars for your kind to inhabit. Apparently, most of them don't even have air for you to breathe. We are all very lucky that Ithris just so happens to provide everything you need to thrive. Or did mankind turn out the way they are because of the available resources, I wonder? Either way, it's nothing short of miraculous, and I cannot wait to see more of it. This is all very wonderful, I'm sure, but I was rather hoping to learn more about your nourishment provision facilities. In other words, where is the food? I believe both the knowledge and consumables you seek may be found at Merial Agronomics. As I imagine Singing Way and the others intend to study every conceivable facet of this apparatus. Wouldst thou be so kind to escort our visiting culinarian? Yes, this sounds much more interesting. Hopefully I'll be able to see firsthand some of the delicacies Urianger was telling me about. Even his incredibly vivid, if a bit too verbose, descriptions cannot compare to sampling them myself. Not to mention Ithris will soon be no more, so I must learn all I can while there's still time. Thank you for your encouraging words, Cooking Way. This is the place, yes? The heady aroma was enough to guide me here, and I have spotted several of the fruit and vegetables featured in our compendium. I would dearly love to try some, but I read that those who help themselves to a farmer's crops without permission are often caught and put into pies. Perhaps you could ask whoever is in charge if they would be willing to part with a few samples? Okay, he is following me now. Come. Ah, what a fine mess this is. Oh, it's you, the one who climbed down the mine shaft. I'd show you around if I could, but I'm rushed off my feet preparing for the exodus. And I'm not the only one. We have all got to find ways to do what we do down here up there. First on the moon, then on whichever star the forum decides will become our new home. It's all so sudden, so unreal. Don't you want to go to the moon? Well, it's better than waiting for the final days to claim us. But no matter how carefully it's all planned, we'll never be able to take every variety of flora and fauna with us. Even the ones we can take may not survive in their new environment. So many species doomed to extinction. Sorry, that's not what you came to talk about, is it? Nothing quite so dire, I assure you. We merely wish to sample a little of your produce, if we may. By all means, help yourselves. Much appreciated, my good fellow. So, where to begin? Oh, I know what these are. Grapes, yes? Let's see if they're as delicious as they look. So sweet, so sour. The taste is much like a ripe philosopher's carrot, and yet the texture is entirely different. The contrast between the outer skin and the fruit within is most peculiar, though far from unpleasant. Yes, I think I'll try another. Well, it's certainly given me food for thought, though in a far less visceral manner than any philosopher's carrot. But tell me, what's your opinion on grapes? Oh, I need to remember something.
Is there an option about wine?
No, the first option. Do you know why? That short story where Azam takes Ifrita to stop the volcano from erupting.
Okay.
When they ask why she's doing it, apparently she says because the grapes there are so good that it would be a waste if the volcano destroyed them. I'm going to say the first one.
Okay. You convinced me.
Yes, they are rather Moorish, aren't they? And from what I read, quite versatile too. Something about people stepping on them to make intoxicating beverages, as I recall. Oh yes, we make wine out of them. Anyway, that's enough about grapes for the time being. On to the next treat. Orange by name, orange by nature. Well, the color name comes... Anyway, what came first, the fruit or the color? Who cares? Let's eat.
Yeah, that's a good question. What came first, the chicken or the egg, right?
Yes, that's... Equal parts sweet and sour, as with the grapes, yet nothing alike. I may have to consult Urianger about expanding my vocabulary. I simply cannot find the words to describe it.
Hold on, Cooking Way. Did you eat them with the skin or without the skin?
Perhaps what I'm looking for is bitter. This is all very complicated, you know. So many flavors, so many choices, and each individual with their own personal preferences. Now I see why you all turned your noses up at the idea of eating nothing but carrots. Marvelous though they still are in my estimation, let no one say I said otherwise. But speaking of carrots, I have yet to sample any of the vegetables. Let's see what's in that field over there. That color, that texture, are they some sort of enormous round carrots? No. No? In any case, proper nomenclature is less of a concern than the taste. Ah! It's so hard and flavorless. I may as well be chewing a piece of wood. That all but confirms it. These are nothing more than misbegotten failures masquerading as goodly carrots. Now you need to cook them first. Stop, stop, stop. Can't you see those are pumpkins? And no one with any sense would try to eat them raw. You're supposed to cook them first. Do you not find it an awful bother? Far from it. Cooking is a joy unto itself. And what's more, it broadens the range of ingredients that we may safely eat. But above all else, cooking allows us to draw out the full potential of our produce. Pumpkin stew has been one of my favorite dishes for as long as I can remember. Then perhaps even these hard blocks of plant matter can become as delicious as the orange I sampled. I wonder though, if there is anything even more delicious. How about that yellow fruit over yonder? Oh no, are those lemons by any chance?
Oh my goodness, lemon tree.
What a wondrous fragrance! With luck, I will have a flavor to match. Oh my goodness. As I have no idea how these are eaten, I'll just bite into it.
Good luck.
My tongue! Is this poison? No, it's very sour. A lemon? You mean it's supposed to taste like this? How can something so similar to an orange be so revolting? It may be some time before my palate recovers from this ordeal. As such, I had best call an end to this round of sampling. Let's say our farewells and return to the others. Finished, have you? I trust you found something to your liking. I'm rather enamored with the grapes and oranges. Less so the pumpkins, though I learned the hard way they are not to be eaten raw. Then there was the lemon. The deceiver! I still feel so violated.
Not enough reason to tell her to fail.
First time, was it? I would hate for you to leave with a bad taste in your mouth in more ways than one, so I'll give you this lemon muffin I baked. If this doesn't change your opinion, nothing will. More lemon? Have I not suffered enough? Oh, just eat it, you'll love it. Nevertheless, it would be remiss of me to spend this opportunity to... a bit of sick came up there. Learn more of your inscrutable ways. Very well, lemon muffin. Do your worst. Oh, you will love it. Trust me, you will love it.
Lemon muffin. That's me.
Speechless cooking way. This is... delicious! Although I still detect a hint of lemon, it complements the sweetness of the dough to create a perfect harmony. I never would have guessed its wild bitterness could be utilized so elegantly. My good chap, this is simply breathtaking. See? We rarely use lemon in its natural state, but it has a starring role in all sorts of recipes, and the same is true for many other ingredients. It comes down to making the most of the resources at our disposal, and sometimes that can even be the difference between life and death. I know we won't be able to take every species with us. No doubt the form agonized over what was worth preserving, and what will be consigned to history. Hard choices, but make them we must if we are to survive. Such strength of will! Now I know what Hydaelyn sees in your kind. Mankind, the Lopoorrits, we were both born from the accumulated knowledge of the ancients. They learned all there is to learn about the nature of sentient life and the fates of the stars themselves. Once a civilization has fulfilled the basic requirements for survival, it will inevitably seek to eliminate all forms of negativity and achieve perfection. And therein lies its folly and its downfall. For perfection is an unattainable ideal, as the paradox of the immaculate carrot. Yet civilizations since time immemorial have deemed the pursuit of perfection as progress. They pay no heed to the costs incurred in their futile quest, and all too often become the architects of their own demise, their dreams forever unfulfilled. What, then, is the alternative? The answer lies in knowing that our existence can never be perfect, to be content with what we have and make the most of it. When life gives you lemons, make lemon muffins! Pardon my Eosin, but what in the seven hells are you on about? And who are you anyway? Cooking Way, at your service. I'm here to help prepare for the trip to the moon. And once you get there, you'll be able to try out my carrots. I've been growing all different kinds. But don't worry, there'll be room for your crops too. We will work together to preserve as many of Aetheris' species as possible if you're up to the challenge. Yes, of course. I look forward to it. Well, this has all been highly productive. Probably. Let's go and see if Urianger and the others have run out of machinery to inspect, shall we? Let's go. Hi! Oh, there you are! Have the others finished talking about rainmaking what's yet? Where have you and Cooking Way been? If the two of you were engaged in pursuits of an educational nature, you should have taken me too! I am the leader after all! Oh no, Living Way is not happy. Not to rub it in, but we had the most fantastic time while you were away. Urianger was able to obtain all manner of meteorological data for us to pore over. I'll be sure to put my newfound knowledge to good use once we return to the moon. It's my duty to make journey as comfortable as possible, though there is no telling how long it will be. 100 years? 1,000? Probably closer to 5,000, give or take. Hopefully not. By Cooking Way's broad grin, I assume your excursion was a roaring success. Yes, it was. That was most enlightening, especially the part with the lemon muffin. Actually, I was wondering, do you know of any other places famed for their cuisine? Oh yes, Limsa. The Far East has oodles of noodles. Limsa is home to the Culinarians Guild and many less than savory establishments. Yes, that one. Would that I had time to visit. The more I learn of Aetheris, the more I wish we could spare it from the final days. Alas, Heidelin's orders are to flee, not to resist. If only there was some other way.
You are being rescued. Please do not resist.
Yeah, exactly. Muffins. I wonder if this is how Pudding Way felt the first time Urianger made pudding. Though I'm not sure that actually was pudding, come to think of it. Something about it seemed a bit off. Alia, I trust thy time at Muriel Agronomics did bear fruit. Urianger, what are you doing? What are you doing with the puns? Our own efforts too were rewarded. We now possess an embarrassment of educational riches. No doubt our guests' relentless pursuit of knowledge could occupy them and us for a fortnight. Alas, time is of the essence. Let us return to Charlene Hamlet forthwith. I shall gladly attend to each and every Lopoorrit there, should further questions within my power to answer arise. That was ever so delightful, and with this much information I can fine-tune the moon's environs for your people's comfort. It's surprisingly tricky to estimate appropriate temperature setting for being so lacking in fur. Why did I not ask Jepke how to make carrot muffins? We could have had baked goods bursting with happiness. Well, there might be someone else who knows it. Oh no, there was nowhere in particular I was hoping to go. I simply wish to see, hear, feel, and think as much as I possibly can while we're here. What does that look for? What did I say? You said hear, feel, think. The Lopoorrits want for activities and stimulation, but I struggle to conceive of how to visit them whilst we wait. What is it, Growing Way? Yes, Alia, that was indeed me verbalizing a sigh to express my emotional state. Do you want to know why? Oh, she was actually saying sigh. Because I saw the reconstructed environmental data for Aetheris at Logisticon Alpha, that's why. A forest so lovely and so leafy. Are all your forests like that? Yes. The Black Shroud is quite leafy indeed, and a place of utmost tranquility. They are verdant at least. The trees of Dravania stand particularly proud. You should see the forests of the first. One was purple.
I'm going to choose that one.
But she's interested in Aetheris, so I'm going to say the Black Shroud, I think. Gasp! Gasp, I say! With a star so wonderful, it comes as no surprise that you're reluctant to leave it behind. I was a fool to think otherwise, to assume that the moon was something worth being proud of. How ridiculous we must seem to you, trying so hard yet achieving so little. Not at all. Thy works are no less worthy of their uniqueness. I thought I heard tiny voices. Yes, Tancred. Yes. How didst thou fare? Oh, I was able to glean a fair bit from the researchers while helping to move their cargo. Oh no, they made Tancred carry stuff. Preparations have proceeded without interruption here, despite news of the coming end. We have the forum's leadership to thank for that.
Well, thinking that he is carrying us in the trusts, so...
He's not carrying us in the trusts. No.
Alright, that's Graha.
Oh, Graha can carry me anywhere. That doesn't mean people aren't worried, though. Quite the opposite. Knowing disaster could strike at any moment, they hurry to complete their work, equally aware that a single error could be the difference between life and death. And we can hardly tell them there is no cause for concern. Perhaps not. Though aided by our goodly growing way, we may yet find other ways to lighten their burden. Me? Be of use to people? I'm honored that you would think me so capable, but I'm not sure that I'm up to the challenge. Nevertheless, I believe in thee. If you say so, I suppose it can't hurt to try. I passed someone moping in the Western Plaza that looked to be in need of a helping paw. Perhaps you might start with him? It's as good a place as any. Come. Oh, I can already see Joe-Cat going that with the come thing on the screen. You'd best go with them. I don't think Urianger misjudged him, but Growing Way does look like he could use some emotional support. I still have work to complete elsewhere. I trust that I won't return to find any Lopoorrits in tears. Oh no, I don't want him to cry. Oh, why are you sad? Oh, can I help you? It's you who would help me? Is my anxiety truly so obvious? A burden shared is a burden eased. Pray, tell us of thy troubles. Those little fellows do look like good listeners. I'm an engineer, you see, and what they say of the ship, that is the sum of decades of Charlene ingenuity, that is built with peerless elegant technology, is all true, but I know that none of that's a guarantee. We have never before launched a starfaring vessel, let alone flown it in the great expanse. All the tests we have run have been on the ground. Only operational personnel and cargo will be aboard for the first voyage. But even so, if it fails us then, what can we do? And if it doesn't, it could fall apart on the next flight, or the one after that. We have done everything we can to prevent that from happening, but it hardly matters. We thought the ether burner's design was flawless too, and look how that turned out. Thou art familiar with these most daunting technologies, and thus dost thou hold the power to allay his fears. Urianger, please.
Have mercy.
I'm not sure about that, but, well... Maybe you could tell me if there are any aspects of the ship's design that you're especially worried about. Our ability to walk about and perform our tests, for one. I have devised a means by which to employ gravity as spatio-temporal spell to regulate the environment. But what if it's not strong enough? What if everyone floats away and begins crashing into things as soon as we have left the star? Ah, gravitation! Maybe I can be of help after all. Up there is not so different from down here, you see. The same rules apply, and if you consider them as part of one great big cosmos, then rather than separate places. Oh no, scientific discussion going on. I suspect both parties shall find comfort in this conversation. Maybe. Yet if Thancred's tale to be true, still others would benefit from insights born of experience. Might I prevail upon the Lopoorrits to attempt them? An excellent idea, if I do say so myself. There is naught we'd like more than to ease the hearts of the fine people of Ithers, and learn more about them while we're at it. Full glad am I to hear it. Gather thy companions and bring them hither. Alia, thou hast a gift for finding souls in need of succor. Pray, seek thee out the distressed and the apprehensive, and inform them that help is at hand. I shall await them here, that I might introduce each to a suitable Lopoorrit. Leave that to me, Urianger. Oh, I do so look forward to that. A place for every Lopoorrit, and every Lopoorrit in their place. So, we are going to find 8 people!
8, yes.
Just leave me to my misery. The forum can appoint someone else. I apologize. I simply don't know what to do. How am I supposed to pilot the Ark if I'm already falling apart under the pressure? Oh, you're one of the pilots? You know a starship pilot that I might speak with? Truly. Well then, there's no time to waste. They can help me prepare for this monumental task. Have you heard anything of what's on the moon? I have no doubt that we can make it up there, but the searching for a new star part of the plan sounds awfully vague to me. I asked the forum, but they will only tell us that our collaborators have everything under control. Forgive me, but I don't feel particularly safe wandering through the sea of stars on gods know what, made by gods know who. Oh, they are right here. You mean to say that I can speak with them directly? Amazing! I hope they like questions. Blasted assistants! Where have they gone off to at a time like this? Beg pardon, but I have not the time for idle chit-chat. I need to reconfirm that ether levels are consistent throughout the vessel's machinery, and it seems I shall have to do so single-handedly. I swear when I find those assistants of mine. The Lopoorrits are willing to help? Why didn't you say so? At least they won't moan about how they checked 24 times already and haven't slept in weeks. Lazy sods. My face? What's wrong with my... Oh, perhaps I'm a bit tense. I was tasked with ensuring that the proper fauna, and only the proper fauna, are brought with us to the moon. However, the suitability of a few species is still under debate, and I can hardly make the decision myself when I know so little about the environment up there. Lopoorrits. Your answer is Lopoorrits. Including the Lopoorrits in our discussions is a wonderful idea. I absolutely will, thank you. Perhaps their biology itself might offer some clue as well. Consult our collaborators? I suppose that would be more effective than sitting here brooding. I'm attempting to calculate how much cargo we can consolidate into fewer trips, should the ether burner make our original estimates unfeasible, but there are simply too many variables. I feel as if my brow will turn inside out. But perhaps our lunar associates will have more insight into how much weight constitutes too much weight for our purposes. Thank you for letting me know. You! Yes, you idiot! Have you seen an envelope lying about? Did you call me idiot? You bald head? Huh? This imbecile refuses to give me the alchemic I ordered without that bloody slip of parchment. Unless your friends have a spell to make me remember where I dropped my damned envelope, I doubt they will be more help than you. And you have wasted enough of my time already. It would be unfortunate for all involved to inflict this man upon the Lopoorrits. Oh no. The end of the world is nigh, yet the work goes no faster. Schedules are such temperamental things, feasible one moment, utter bollocks the next. And yet I have never felt so alive. This one is beyond your help. Only sleep can save her. Now she's dancing. This one has lost his mind.
55 bunches of
weeds in the ground. 56 bunches of weeds. Rip one out to the mound. 55 bunches of weeds in the... No. Hello. Oh! I'm not neglecting my duties, I swear. I was in need of a little break, you see, but then I found myself unable to relax at all, so I went on a walk, and then I noticed these weeds, and... Pleasant conversation partners and... Oh, so fuzzy? Goodness me, that does sound like a much better way to relax. Go. I need to find 2 more people. What am I thinking about? The medical facilities on the ship, of course. I designed them with the assistance of our sages and chirurgeons. But to imagine every illness or injury that one might face in that great expanse is beyond any of us. To say nothing of the effects that living out there indefinitely might have on the body. Go talk to the Lopoorrits. The crew from the moon? Why did I not think of that? Okay, 1 more person. I need to find 1 more person.
1 eternity later.
By the gods, my chest is tight. Am I dying? Is this what dying feels like? Oh, do pardon me, I didn't see you there. There's no cause for concern, I assure you. No cause for concern, even though we may need to depart at any moment, and if the hull I designed buckles under the strain, the entire vessel may explode on launch, claiming countless lives and dooming all mankind. But that is highly unlikely. Yes, highly unlikely. Highly. Our visitors can help me triple check for structural flaws, you say? Why? That would be wonderful. I'm breathing more easily already. Oh, they all came here.
Yeah.
Behold, Alia, through thine efforts, word hath spread throughout Labyrinthos. Verily, to a far greater number than we anticipated. Livingway doth gather more Lopoorrits as we speak. I shall assign each in accordance with their skills, that new bonds of friendship might be forged. Should greater matters require not thine attentions, watch over them, I prithee.
Phew! Oh, finally some rest! Why, I haven't spoken so much in forever.
Lively, isn't it? The town is abuzz. Everyone eager to meet with our friends from the moon.
Twould behoove you to consult with Sleepingway. As our moon's pilot, his advice should be most pertinent.
Wait, Sleepingway is the pilot? Oh no.
I'm impressed. Truth be told, I struggle to tell one from another. No offense intended, of course.
Oh, it's Urianger.
None taken. After you and your friends left Mare Elementorum, we spent no small amount of time with your Urianger.
And Urianger spent so much time with the pixies, so he knows how to discern them.
Oh, the conversations we had. He told us all about Atheris, answered our every question, no matter how trifling or trivial. Look! Every page filled to the margins with knowledge. When I first arrived, I was struck by how little I knew. It was daunting. But then I realized that were it not for Urianger and his teachings, we'd still be stuck on the moon, gazing at your world and wondering what we've been missing.
What would they think if they could see Urianger now? I dare say they'd be more than a bit surprised. And impressed, no doubt.
You know what? Urianger would make a great father.
Oh yeah.
Master Louisoix, Minfilia, Papalimo, and not to forget,
Oh there. Heard there was a visiting expert who we might bother with a few questions. I take it you'd be the one.
Yeah, yes.
Oh, Moenbryda's parents! Those are Moenbryda's parents, aren't they?
Yeah.
Vilfson and Moenbryda, Sharlayan's foremost researchers in the field of teleportation magic, and Moenbryda's parents.
Uh-oh.
It hath been some time. Tis good to see you in good health.
Oh no, Urianger cannot form words. This is serious.
Likewise, old friend. Moenbryda and I were most honored to answer the call. Never expected this reunion, though, did we, dear?
I'll say, the nerve. Sending that letter, then running off to the gods know where.
I'm going to cry.
Oh no!
Do you have any idea?
I'm literally crying right now.
Me too.
I'm sorry. 'Twas remiss of me not to deliver the news in person.
Hug back!
No, more than that. 'Twas I who...
Our daughter was disillusioned after Master Louisoix left her behind. The day the Scions called upon her was the happiest I'd seen her in years. She made her every choice of her own free will. No one could have ever forced her to do otherwise.
Seriously?
I was half expecting her to punch him or something.
Well,
Don't blame
this has
yourself for
excuse.
her death. Celebrate her life. You know that's what she'd want.
If there is one thing we resent you for, it was that we could not be there to mourn her with you. Reading the words you penned in that shaky hand, we must have cried as much for you as we did for her.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
I truly am. I knew not what to say. Knew not how to express my feelings. The poems and platitudes of wiser men, musings on sadness and loss, studied and memorized, and meaningless in the moment.
Silly boy. We are all powerless before such grief. Even now, try as I might, the words escape me. But in our hearts, we know, we always know.
I remember when you were young, how the lads teased you for choosing the company of books over others. Our moon didn't take kindly to that. Be nice to Urianger, she'd shout, and give them a walloping. No matter how many times we scolded her.
So we offered a suggestion. Rather than starting fights, why don't you be the bridge between Urianger and the others? She had to mull it over for a while, arms crossed, brow furrowed in intense thought. But from that day on, she never let you be alone. She'd drag you outside to play, pepper you with endless questions, read the same books you read, all to try and understand you that much better. It was annoying and exhausting at the time, but she only ever had the best of intentions.
And look at you now, at the center of the crowd. The reason there even is a crowd, having brought these people together. You've no idea how proud we are.
To see the boy our daughter trusted and believed in more than anyone, grow into the man she always knew he could be. I can see her in you too. Feel her. She walks with you wheresoever you go. So thank you, Urianger, for being who you are.
Oh no, Urianger is crying.
Okay, second wave of crying incoming.
I think I can feel her too. The truth of her life. Not sorrow, but hope and love.
Aww.
This Moenbryda, she was important to him, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was.
You could ask the man himself.
Oh, no. But watching this exchange reminds me how much I've yet to learn about your world. And its people.
You can live here your entire life and hardly learn a thing. And that's why it's too soon for this to end.
This was so beautiful. This was so beautiful. Damn you, Urianger, for making me cry. Remind me to invite Urianger for a drink when we have a moment to breathe. We are long overdue for one. We can raise a glass to Moenbryda. I was so busy asking questions about ethers that I never thought to ask more about Urianger. I would like to, but where would I begin? Goodness me, I have never felt like there was too little time before. There are so many people to talk to, so many things to learn. I assure you that my fellow Lopoorrits are equally excited to have this opportunity. They were humming the whole way here. We spent so long gazing at the star, wondering and hoping. But to be here now, to walk among the people, to be a part of their lives and know that we have made a difference. It's so much more than I have ever dreamed. Oh, you must be one of the Scions, correct? Yeah, I was there when your daughter died. Thank you for caring for my daughter. The time she spent with you was all too short, but I know she was proud to have you as comrade. Urianger is too, I'm sure. And I certainly feel better for knowing he has good friends to look after him. See that he comes home from time to time, will you? The classical Rogadin language isn't so different from Eorzean. Did you ever wonder why we named our daughter Moon's Bride? When I first held her, the moon was shining in silver and full. The whole world seemed aglow. I knew it had chosen her, that she would be a beacon of that self-same light. Of course, we would later hear our fair share of jokes about how we ought to have gone for sun instead, but with how bright and stubborn she was. But fiery as my Moenbryda was, she was always kind and gentle. Oh, Alia, be assured that I'm fine. I am full glad to see them too, after so very long. Gladder still that it was in your company. As difficult as it was to accept their kindness, it would have been far harder had I faced them alone. Ahem. Thou hast my gratitude for lending courage to the Lopoorrits. Not disposed to rest on their laurels, several of our guests have elected to accompany my countrymen to their stations. Some few may still come hither seeking counsel, and so shall I remain to aid them as need be. If thou art needed elsewhere, do not let me detain thee. As a matter of fact, I was hoping you might check on Elise. Last I saw, she was struggling to carry an enormous pile of boxes out to the west gate. Is she carrying it all by herself again?
And you didn't stop and help her, Tancred?
I could go myself, but we both know whose help she is less likely to scorn. Not to mention that, much to my misfortune, I can think of several other things I ought to be doing. Until later. Hi, Elise. Squeal? Something is squealing inside the box. Alia, what are you doing out here? I came to help you. No, I don't mind if you help with the boxes, but it's far from the most exciting of tasks. Are you sure? Yes. Well, I appreciate the assistance. We need to get these to Aporia. Time is short, of course, but they are full of organic specimens and samples, so try not to be too rough with them. Alphino should be waiting for us when we arrive. I'll see you there. Whee! I need to go all by myself. I cannot even use sprint here. But I shall still carry this box, which has some kind of
pig inside.
Maybe. There you go. The box. Oh, you're helping with the crates. Wonderful. You can put that there with the others. Yeah, my gratitude. But how did you come to be involved in this? Tanker told me. What is within? Hazard within. Then I suppose I have Thancred to thank as well. If you're wondering why we were tasked with bringing these boxes to Aporio to begin with, so was I. It turns out that this is a base of operations of sorts. Those with final say as to what's included in the ship's manifest can be found here. Father included, I suspect. What? Oh, that should be everything. You carried all of that at once? Are you trying to injure yourself? Oh hush, they are lighter than they look, and not everyone has your delicate arms. I suppose we should let someone know that we have finished. So Poldin is in the courtyard. We can report to him. Why don't you come along? You should get credit for your assistance, at least. Considering where we are, we might even learn something interesting. And off she goes. Gods, it never ends, does it? What can I do for you? We have brought samples from Charlie and Hamlet. Series 110. The crates are by the entrance. Oh, thank you. I had expected one of my colleagues, but we are dreadfully short-handed. Just a moment. You're Fortunal's children, are you not? Alfino and Alize, at your service. We are well acquainted with father, I take it? Oh, you are. Okay, yeah, yes. Quiet! I have been friends with your parents since our days at the studium. I remember when you were yee-high, waddling hither and thither. Clearly it's been quite some time since we met. It's good to see you again, wielding your father's newlets, no less. You knew our parents when they were young. What were they like? Pray, spare no detail. I should like nothing more than to regale you. Alas, I am meant to be in charge here, and reams of paperwork want for submission. We can help with that, in exchange for the sort of stories our parents would never willingly divulge. Of course. Very well then. There happen to be 3 sets of documents in need of delivery, so how about you each take one? Wait right there. Oh, you're going to give the papers, okay. Thank you for the papers. You will find a former representative waiting to collect these near the southernmost structure. I hope I haven't kept her waiting too long. Never mind Alfino and Alize, I'm certain they will be back soon enough. Are you not one of the scions of the 7th Dawn? I thought you were meant to be working on the ether burner. The nature of this paperwork is not a particularly well-guarded secret, but due to how dull it is to read, will nevertheless remain largely unknown. So Pauline's paperwork. I was beginning to worry he has misplaced his quill. I appreciate your help in seeing these documents to my hands at last. As for your other task, pray keep this between us, but I sincerely hope you scions succeed. The Exodus is, without a doubt, the most monumental undertaking in the history of the Forum, and we must be circumspect in all respects. Risk is a privilege we cannot afford ourselves. At its heart, however, Charlian has ever been a nation of the curious. It would be a tragedy indeed if we were the ones to stymie your pursuit of truth. The twins' papers only needed to be delivered to elsewhere in the facility, so they should be returning any moment. We return, with not a scrap of paperwork remaining on our persons, you will note. You both have my thanks, and my apologies for sending you on an errand far below your ambitions. Why, even as a babe, you struggled out of your wet, swaddling clothes and... That's quite enough of that, thank you. It was compromising stories of our parents that we had asked to hear, to reiterate. He enjoys himself. Of course, of course. I have known your father for so long, I must have something. Well, as you know, part of why the Labyrinthos name garners such respect in Charlian is your family's storied history. You too can trace your ancestry directly to those who came abroad Moenbryd's hope, a lineage few can claim. I've never thought much of it myself. It's not as though our forebears founded our nation. They were simply there when it happened. Nevertheless, it has traditionally been a point of pride. It's why Moenbryda's pronouncement, renounce the ways of war and pursue enlightenment through knowledge and reason, has ever been our family's creed. Until your grandfather's time, Archon Luzois looked not to Moenbryda's words, but its deeds. He asserted, in defiance of his peers, that choosing to serve the great and the small from the rising tides was the true mark of our founder's virtue. Perhaps it was his expertise, his knowledge of ancient prophecy and the fall of civilizations, that led him to conclude that eschew conflict with every turn was to consign mankind to his doom. There will ever be conflict and calamity to follow. Thus, to ignore the plight of those who might conceivably save is not wisdom, it's indolence. You remember his words well. Indeed, Archon Luzois lived by that personal creed, and used every means at his disposal to bring succor to those in need, Charlian or no. No one loved and admired your grandfather more than his son. Yet Fortuno could not reconcile Luzois' deeds with the philosophy of their forebears and his peers, a philosophy in which he believed so fervently, yet made a pariah of his father. Fortuno agonized over this contradiction for much of his life. God's father. A son may carry his father's blood, but his choices are his own to bear. Is it not always thus? Gods know Fortuno's a cranky old goat, and I'm sure you butt heads often enough. Yet even so, you must know that you're constantly in his thoughts, every moment of every day, and that's not an exaggeration in the slightest. You should have seen him when you were born. Barely recognizable he was, with a kind of dumbfounded grin I had not seen since he first took a fancy to your mother. He was practically skipping when he told me the news. Take my word for it, he loves you to an embarrassing degree. But he is also frustratingly single-minded. Once he has decided that a given action is for the best, he will stay the course no matter who or what opposes him. A profoundly annoying habit when you are on the other end of it, as I'm sure you will agree. I'll say, thank you for your insight. When next we meet our parents, I shall mention that we spoke. Try not to get me into too much trouble now. I need the forum on my side. Speaking of which, I ought to be getting back to work. I have to make sure those specimens you brought make it to their proper places, or the cranky old goat will have my hide. We can speak again later. Hail, you three! Oh, hi, Raha. Raha, surely Kokol hasn't driven you out of the forge already. For better or for worse, no. However, he has set me a task that requires more than my single pair of hands, and here you are. I could use at least one of you, but I won't object to more. I can't go. Seriously, take me. Unfortunately, Alize and I have prior commitments, and we have delayed too long as it is.
How
What about you,
convenient.
Alia? Can you spare the time? Do you even need to ask? Perfect. This shouldn't take long. You can take as long as you want. In the event that our, and I quote, promised heap of Adamantite falls right out of the bloody sky and into my lap, Master Kokol wishes to be ready to put the proverbial hammer to anvil at a moment's notice. To fabricate these parts, however, he needs the flames of Kokol's forge to burn hotter. He sent me to increase the amount of ether being funneled through his furnaces. The flow of fire-respected ether in Labyrinthos is regulated by an elemental reactor south of here, to which I have borrowed the key. The adjustments will require 2 people to carry out safely, but I can explain the process when we arrive. This is where we part then. We'll see you in Charlian Hamlet once the Adamantite arrives, if not before. The reactor is housed within this facility. I'll be the one to go inside and adjust the fire ether output. When I do, a rather large amount of water-aspected ether will issue from the vent at the top. I expect this to attract at least a few elementals, which we would both rather not be drawn into the reactor itself. Trust me. Can I ask that you put down any that draw too near? They will cause you little trouble, I'm sure. Wait here if you would. Yeah, I will, Graha, don't worry about it.
Together.
I was expecting more. Okay, no dots. They die very, very quickly. No need for dots. Oh, that was all?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi. Why am I waiting like that? Did everything go smoothly out here? A few of them came, but I killed them. I thought as much. No major complications to speak of inside either. And the water ether appears to be venting properly. I expect Coco will have seen a difference in his forge flames by the time I return. Since I have you... yes you do. There was another matter I thought to discuss with you. Nothing terribly important, merely something I have been considering. Part of this I shared with everyone, yet you, and only you, have been to Elpis. What is it? As we have established, refined adamantite is a product of Alag, of the Empire's twilight years, in fact. It was a material which saw much use as part of the Elegant's efforts to extend beyond the bounds of this world. Dalamud, of course, being the most prominent. Of those who would push further, expand Alag's empire to encompass the heavens and the stars above, perhaps the greatest was its infamous technologist, Amon. Amon wanted to travel the Sea of Stars? Did he remember his life as Hermes? Nah, I will choose the first one. He did. He must have had his own reasons, however, for there is no evidence to suggest that he retained memories of his life as an ancient. He only joined the Esseans once the Empire was all but dust, as you know. If not his memory, though, what drove him to pursue the idea with such fervor? This may seem far-fetched, but what if souls, like minds, have a personality, so to speak? A natural disposition towards which they are inclined? We know with relative certainty that it was the gross decadence and inexorable decline of Alag that moved Amon to resurrect Emperor Zande. The Empire's people spoke lightly of death and destruction, experimenting on those they deemed beneath them to fill the emptiness in their hearts. In facilitating Zande's return, Amon provided those languid souls with the means to free themselves from the mire of their own indolence. Or would have, had not Zande been convinced by his own death that life itself was meaningless. Amon's desire for his countrymen to conquer the heavens could only be a means to the same end, to instill the people with new purpose. Like Hermes before him, Amon was appalled by how those around him lived, but could never bring himself to believe that those lives were devoid of meaning. And both of them sought that meaning, that hope, in the distant stars. Such is my theory, anyway. Ultimately, it's the consequences of their actions which matter. Their motives are of no moment, and yet... To reach those stars on wings of adamantite, to travel to the ends of creation and beyond, the promise of hope everlasting. That much I do understand. But enough musings for now. Why don't we see how Coco is getting on? Okay. I did thoroughly brief Coco on refined adamantite's history. I only volunteered to go to the reactor because I was finished and there was little else to do. Hopefully that dispels any misapprehensions that I was kicked out for prattling on. Phew, I can feel those flames ablazing from here. Glad you found someone capable, Graha, but there is not much left for you lot to do. Unless you can conjure up that refined adamantite any faster. I do trust you to deliver on your promise, I do. Only... I hate waiting! I want that Adamantite and I want it now! Oh no, he's shouting. We, share your impatience, I assure you. Is there truly nothing else we can assist with in the meantime? I wish! The sitting about is unbearable! Pity the forum frowns on recreational explosions. What? What do you mean recreational explosions? Well, so long as they can't prove it was premeditated. Get you gone. I have mistakes to make. Oh no, he's going to make some explosions. In that case, I suppose I should go and return the key to the reactor. I'll have one more look to make sure that nothing has gone wrong. Unintentionally or otherwise. I'm certain there are better uses for your time, however. I will join you in Charlie and Hamlet anon. Oh, this music. I like this music very much.
I take it.
Oh yes, it is voiced.
We finished what we could. Delivered supplies, tracked down escaped animals. Trivial tasks as they may be.
That's enough, don't you think? If there was anything more important still undone, that would be a problem in itself.
The vessel is essentially ready for departure. All that remains is to load the final batch of supplies and see everyone on board. Once we've readied the ether burner, that is.
Ah, had a feeling we might find you all here.
Our consultations with the Lopoorrits, too, have run their course. Pleased I am to say that our researchers' concerns have, for the most part, been allayed, though some insist on making adjustments to the very end. For their part, Livingway and her peers have graciously offered to stay and keep the people company, lest any lingering queries go unanswered.
All that remains is to wait for the refined adamantite.
Alphino, are you there? It's me, Cryle. Your special delivery has arrived. Round up everyone and come to the harbor at once.
Oh, Adamantite.
Speak of the devil. Let us go at once.
Forgive the intrusion, Master Fortuner. I bring urgent news. A great commotion has broken out in Scholar's Harbor. Your presence is requested with all speed.
Now, where might this delivery be? Oh.
Oh! Oh, Emanuele is here.
I'm sure it's very important, but we cannot accept these without the proper permits.
Oh, we have the permits. The card is here too.
Surely, these can't all be.
Oh, the guys! That guy is...
Bleeding hellfire!
One second.
Bringing them by sea and by air. All these folks in these crates.
That guy is from the Heavensward Alliance raids.
Ah.
The Sky Pirates.
And more on the way. Got your adamantite right here. A bigger haul than any of these sorry bastards brought, and that's no lie.
Yes, because you were charged with seeing the shipments from Gridania and Uldar here, along with your own. Give credit where credit is due.
Sounds like the sorry whinging of a sore loser. An hypocrite to boot. Ain't no way a scrawny whelp like you took a dozen steps inside a Dalamant shard.
I'll have you know I went all the way to the entrance. Furthermore, 'twas my contacts that enabled us to enlist the cooperation of the Sky Pirates.
Left you outside so you wouldn't get anyone killed, did they? Well then, credit where credit's due, you did a right fine job sitting on your ass.
Oh god, this bickering.
Take that back.
Make me.
I will not stoop to your level.
My,
Hi, guys.
what a grand welcome party.
Hancock and Soroban.
We come bearing relics both sacred and elegant, as well as a few other gifts that may be of help.
Wait.
To be presented with best wishes from the Eastern Alliance.
Did they literally bring everything that, you know, was gathered for their vault?
Our friends in Bosnia, for instance, have sent along a few artifacts for the brave allies of the Resistance. That's you.
I myself have come with a sacred relic of Rayson Temple. 'Twas passing fortunate that Senri's dango craving brought us to Kugane. We arrived precisely
Dango
as
craving.
Hancock was making his arrangements. Upon learning of your need, we made haste back to Hell's Lid, with our dango, never fear, and consulted with the other auspices. All consented to the lending of Tenzin's legendary Phoenix Blade for this noble cause.
Oh my.
Suzaku and Seiryu were
I'm
nevertheless
behind you,
worried
wait.
that it might be lost in transit, however,
No,
and
you're not.
insisted upon accompanying me to Onokoro, where I had intended to entrust it to our Confederate allies. I thought instead to give it over to Hancock when we chanced to cross paths yet again. But alas, Seiryu remained ill at ease, and ordered me see the blade into your hands personally, or die trying.
We did, of course, need quite the impressive vessel to get it all here in
Yes,
time.
they took the theater.
Theater!
Yeah.
Oh my!
Fortunately, our majestic associates have been more than helpful. 'Tis an honor to join the Warrior of Light on another adventure, they tell me.
Aww. I didn't take a
This is all
screenshot on
wonderful
time.
to hear, but what of the extraordinary cost? I shudder to think of the ransom we must pay for such a bounty.
Fret not for your coin purse, young Alphino. Lord Lopoorrits looks ever towards the profits of the future, and thus the East Aldenar Trading Company went to some lengths to reduce the financial liability. And since the Scions funded the entire venture, not a gill need be rendered up in compensation. Everything is already yours.
How did we fund the entire what?
We funded the venture. When?
Yeah, when and how? Oh, I should have known.
This coin keeper knows a thing or two about spending. When it comes to capital investiture, a sprinkling of gil here and there will not do. You need enough savings to make waves when it really counts, which is why frugality is paramount. We also had the benefit of a generous patron. Generous being rather an understatement.
Who is that patron? Is it Gubbird or something? Would be funny.
Has
Oh, she.
supported us from the shadows since the very
Okay, the
founding of
Lali-ho
the
mother.
Scions. We even had coffers to fill.
Hi. Fortunately, it's like everyone is going behind my back.
I remain, of course, an entirely neutral party. I simply thought our family's coffers were needlessly full. We can hardly take them with us on your teeny-tiny toy boat, now can we? And we'd be ashamed to leave all that hard-earned wealth unspent.
I love this woman. Wait, I'm behind you.
Waste not.
The facepalm.
However did you manage so much in so short a time, though? We expected word to reach only a fraction of our allies.
Did I not tell you I have my ways?
Who is your friend? Oh, Erinville.
Erinville? You were involved too.
I received a letter from Cryo after we parted ways in Labyrinthos. She explained what the Scions were trying to accomplish, and why you might soon require the services of the Gleaners, spread across the world as we are. I pray you do not interpret this as a betrayal of Charlotte. I accept that the Forum's aim in pushing us to our limits was to preserve what knowledge we have, and I bear you no ill will for it. Yet, in collecting that knowledge, what I came to appreciate most about our star is that there remains so much we do not know.
I want this to be a fashion accessory though. The bags.
Oh, that would
is
be
why I
actually
chose to help the Scions. To combat the obliteration of those countless undiscovered wonders. I held no illusions that they would be less demanding taskmasters. Though, rest assured, if I had, I would have been sorely disappointed.
Oh, come on, Fortunal.
To make a long story short, the whole of the guildship cooperated to ensure your call was heard far and wide.
I want a screenshot of this. Nero! Sid! Alpha! Alpha! Alpha is here!
What's this about a ship
Alpha is
that can
here,
fly
yeah.
to the moon?
I knew they would turn up
Why
at
didn't
some
you
point.
mention it sooner? The one time you don't beg my aid, your problem's a bloody ship that can fly to the moon.
Sid, you brought the team.
Of course. Garland Ironworks' finest. You need only point us towards my new favorite ship.
Hi, Alpha.
Hi, Alpha!
Oh, I nearly forgot. We stopped by Whirlwind before coming here and picked up a package from Gaius.
What?
He's still of the mind that actions make for better penance than words, contrite or otherwise. So we offer none of the latter.
And so he didn't talk and gave you something.
What he sent is an Allegan relic Valens used in his weapons experiments. Has a fair bit of refined adamantite in it too.
Aww.
As you like us not suspect, we've also brought adamantite for Mordona's Dalamud shard. I admit to some consternation upon first receiving Kryl's message. So few Scions remain at the Rising Stones now. Far too few for such an expedition.
I'm so happy everyone is here.
However, the Gleaners were able to secure us reinforcements. Idleshire's treasure hunters,
Idleshire.
not least among them.
Finally someone said the name. It's Idleshire.
I know. How the Gobbyflock fought. Slowfix's gratitude for the safe return of his daughter has not waned, and he gathered his kin to our side with an astounding quickness.
I'm missing so many
The clash
conversations.
between their machina and the Allegan defences was a sight to behold. I wager even you would have been impressed by the magnitude of the gobby booms.
What? Why?
There's so much hidden dialogue that I'm not seeing. I don't know what I didn't get, but your cinematic is much longer than mine.
Ah!
Fascinating as all this is, I fail to see how it explains your presence here. Does Razat Han not have more pressing concerns?
Oh, Nidana is here too.
We do. Yet averting the final days would be the most expedient solution. That, and I am indebted to you. Though they chose to take their leave of Thavner, those you saved in Galimund remain my people. My gratitude is beyond words.
It's not every day a dragon bows before you, you know?
It is appropriate that I aid you in kind. If in the doing we bring salvation to others of this star, so much the better. You will recall that I spoke of my father, Midgard Summer, and his journey across the great expanse. As he traveled betwixt the stars, his resplendent scales drank of the ether in those nigh empty surrounds, and imparted to him the strength to persevere. Thinking they might further your cause, I called out to my kin for consent.
Oh?
Ajdaya's answer was silence.
Yeah, Ajdaya is the only one of the first brood that we haven't met yet.
Yeah.
Tiamat and Chrisvelgre, however, responded favorably to the suggestion. My sire, too, stirred from his slumber long enough to speak and say, "Very well. Thus have I brought you his own worm scales.
What?
Fit them to your purpose, and seek a worthier fate for us all."
You brought Midgard Zorm's scales?
You'd be hard-pressed to find someone else so familiar with the unique properties of dragon scales. So I invited myself.
Bugger me, this is so unbelievable. I've gone right back round to believing it again. Forget a 6% gain in efficiency. With all these goodies, we could get 7, no, 10, no, 14 bleeding percent.
He's losing his mind.
Think of how far we could go. What we could do with that much power. What we could blow up.
No, not blowing up anything, no.
If Kokol is duly convinced, then it must be true. In which case, the science end of the bargain has been fulfilled. Would you not agree?
Come on, Fortuno. We did our work.
Yes, Father?
I know not what you seek of Hydaelyn, nor for what purpose you would take command of our ship. Yet this much is certain. To do so will be to dictate the fate of this star and the lives upon it. The lives of each and every creature, in their magnitude and their fragility. Do you understand? And are you prepared?
We are not prepared, actually, but if Alfna says yes.
And we have felt how much each life shapes this world. And so we are determined to abandon none. We understand what is at stake, and we are prepared to bear this burden.
Then I will bear it with you.
Aww.
I beg you. Share your struggles with me. As family.
Finally!
You grasped my fingers with such tiny hands the day you were born.
Oh, come on.
I thought my heart might burst. 'Twas love and happiness beyond expression. Overwhelming. And a conviction so powerful that I trembled with something close to rage. I had heard the final days foretold. I swore to myself then and there that I would not let them steal your futures. The great exodus would succeed, must succeed. No sacrifice or sin was worse than the alternative. If anything gave me pause, 'twas mine own father. The Archon Louisoix openly decried Charlian's policies, a perspective which I regarded with increasing disdain as I grew older. Yet even as part of me thought him a fool, perhaps I also hoped that he, of all people, would devise a brilliant means to save my children. A naive hope, but stubborn enough that I could never bring myself to keep you apart.
No, that was his doing. When he perished at Cartano, as we pulled that twisted slab of Dalamud from the sea, I remembered the warmth of your newborn touch. Chastened, I vowed never again to suffer any interference in my mission to protect you. No matter that you yourselves wished otherwise. Detest me, fight me tooth and nail, I would suffer it, and more, and be satisfied so long as I could force you onto the ship. I was wrong. You two have grown so much stronger and so much wiser than I dared dream. You have earned the right to walk your own path, and already begun to do so.
Good. Because there are things we care about, and people we love, and none of them is replaceable. Not a one.
It cannot have been an easy journey for you to have come so far.
We shall be glad to acquaint you with the finer details someday, once this danger has passed. All that we have seen and heard, that we have felt and learned in our travels. Ours is not a kind world, but it is beautiful. Always.
Now hug.
Oh no. Are you quite sure that's wise? After all, someone turns pale and flees the room when he sees so much as an envelope containing word of your adventures. Whatever will happen if he learns what you were really up to?
Amelians.
Come on, hug. Okay, back to forum member status.
Though I have wronged my children most gravely, I owe you an apology as well.
Oh yes, yes you do.
I assumed that it was the Scion's influence that made them so keen to charge headlong into danger. Yours, in particular. I see now that said influence instead brought them together with the many fine people gathered here today. In which case, I hope you continue to guide them.
They're my children too, you know.
If we've finished loitering about the harbor, might I suggest we put our plans into motion? People are beginning to look confused.
Perhaps you can spare a few words ere they resume the tedious lugging of cargo. You have no small number of friends and admirers here after all.
Do you want me to talk? Oh, this music! Da, 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 da. I just want them to lend me their strength.
Your assistance is appreciated. Now, in an orderly fashion, if you please.